Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. We're on episode 302 today, continuing on in Magical Worlds. I call it my daily color special because it's a special new book to me and I am enjoying coloring in it. So I have not set up my little clip system, and I thought, I don't know if you can see everything I am doing, but I thought I would see how hard it was to actually have the book closed. I like to do that with the Small Victories book. Today was a hectic day again. I am so close to the end of this craziness. This morning my mom and her husband went and they did sign on the house. So we helped get them moved in. I have some fun stories to share with that once I get coloring. So let's find my page I'm in. We're going to do leaves and maybe do a little yellow on the lanterns. I did like having the clipboard be the bottom. This is not my normal way. So here's my clip. This is just if you guys are having some issues with the spine. I am working through all of the variations of this big spine. Romantic Country has a different setup. It's not quite, it doesn't feel the same as this. And so I've only colored, actually I'm on my third page for each book. So I now have my big clipboard down at the bottom, and then up at the top I have my little foldy black office clip and my piece of foam that is a felt, I should say, that is a coaster that I've cut up. So at the top here, I'm leaning far back, I am just flattening that spine with the cushion, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a perfect way to keep my spine less intrusive to what I'm doing. So the next thing I am doing is I'm holding my clipboard at a 45. That's what I did yesterday, and there was only one time that I was up in this upper left corner, and it's that darn knuckle of mine that will cause it to lose focus. But I felt pretty good about it. And this is just one of the many reasons why, for me, I've just always used the coloring pages, and they're just easier to manipulate. But I still am embracing the whole coloring book idea. It's a lot of fun. So we are going to do some leaves. Now, I did these bottom 4 leaves. I did them quite dark. I am going to, they are being blocked from the light, and I haven't decided if, am I going to make this a nighttime lighting, or just have some glowy lantern and leave, I'm not a background person, so probably for now I will not be doing a background on this. I could definitely see how a really cool black night sky with the lanterns and having the backlit, head and the feathers, it just would be really cool. But for me and where I am at in my journey, I am just happy to color the owl. I am feeling that I moved it on the clipboard a little too far to the left, so I'm shifting it to the right so that the whole image, if I end up here with this leaf, it was off the page. So here we go. There we go. So welcome to the channel, and welcome back if you are returning. I color a little bit every day. I chat, I talk about what I am doing for coloring, and I've tried the very quiet coloring. I'm just too chatty. I can't sit there quietly and say nothing. It's just not in me. So I don't use any music or anything, and I color 6 days a week, sometimes 7. With you guys, I try to keep it at about 45 minutes. And so it's just my thing, and I'm really enjoying it. This is officially my 3rd book I have ever colored in. And I'm already tomorrow. This is Friday. Tomorrow being Saturday will be my last day to color. I will probably go ahead and stay in this book. And I believe I've colored in all 3 books this week. I would like to maintain touching all 3 of my books every week. And I already have, when I go through, I have officially unboxed and put up on the shelving my entire coloring book collection, which is actually quite small. But I do want to share that with you guys. I will do that on Sunday during the weekly color review. Or I could make it a separate video. I might do it as a segment so that if it ends up being too long, I can just have it be a separate thing. I'm trying to not have my videos get super duper long, though I love to watch really long videos. There's nothing better for me than watching a really long tutorial color along or like a haul video. I like all coloring videos. So we've got our greens. One thing I don't have near me, because it's my color chart that I showed you yesterday, because these darn letters and numbers are so small. We're going to see if I can not go get that, but I will if it, because we're only going to do greens and maybe like I have 2 yellows. So let's get going. I'm going to throw in the lightest green. I knew with this area down here that I colored yesterday I wouldn't need it. So let's add our 5th one. Let's do the best we can. Okay, and the color numbers will be in the description if I butcher them. I believe that I'm seeing a, wow, this is so bad, you guys, a 5036 is called chartreuse. Apple green 5099. I can actually read that one because the green is dark enough. Pea green 5111. Olive green 5421. And the darkest green is 5511. So I'm going to shift and we're going to work around the owl starting here at the bottom. I have to set my pencils down because I was too close to that little leaf. All right. I'm always eager if I rush through the intro. It's because I know that I want to color about 45 minutes and I don't want to spend all my time idly chatting about stuff and then end up shortening my color time. So again, these are a lovely pencil. People call them a Prismacolor dupe, but I feel that they are their own thing. I kind of think of all pencils as like their own thing. They might be similar to another pencil, but it's like they have their own personalities. There's so many differences between, the different colors, the different feel, how they behave on the different papers is unique. And so I just don't ever need a pencil to behave just like another pencil. A set, that is. And I love the variety. I don't know what I would do with only having one set of pencils and that's it. So let's see. As I get going here, I have to share that my parents, I already shared actually, that they'd already gotten the walkthrough from the owners. And when they went to sign the papers today, this was not a realtor transaction. It was a for sale by owner transaction. And, whenever I've signed on a property, we've always been alone. It's not like we have a big party in the room and the buyer and the seller are there. It's just us, hub and I. So they actually got there and said that there was the owners we're buying the other property. I don't know how she said it, but there were 3 transactions happening, and it took a long time. So here I was expecting to be able to watch the dog, and then within an hour or so, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, knowing where, everything here in our little town is no further away, say, than 20 minutes. Yeah, it was probably 20 minutes away. But my mom's husband got lost twice, and then they decided to stop at the store. And they didn't, call me, so it was 2.5 hours, and I had to call them, where are you guys? Is everything okay? And, yeah, they were gone a really long time. But it was so exciting to load up. We loaded up their vehicle. We have a golf cart that my husband has converted to this crazy work truck looking thing. He built his own bed where the seat flops down and it's flat. So he built up, got rid of the seat back, and we got to load that all up. My parents were so excited to get away from the fifth wheel and the AC in the fifth wheel. So we loaded up their cart, our cart, and their vehicle. Moved everything down. Helped them unload everything. Moved the furniture around. Helped them. Our internet and cable is a package, and it's the community. And I had told her, call Spectrum in advance and see if they will get you the equipment early and have your account going, so that you are not even a day without internet. And she listened and she got it, and the equipment was here. In fact, they delivered it to that house on Wednesday, and she said don't ship it till Thursday, and they shipped it Tuesday, and it came the next day. So it meant that within, I don't know, I unboxed the modem and the router and had it all running in 15 minutes. Boom. And we moved some furniture around. It was very, very fun. So there was one little hiccup with their pods from U-Haul. I talked about that being a mix-up, but they did get confirmation that they will come tomorrow. So they have 6 recliners that in this furniture that was included. It is often a thing here in this community because it is a resort, like a vacation community or a part-time community where people might live part of the time here and part of the time somewhere else. So they got 2 couches and 2 recliners, but it ultimately means they have 6 recliners. And they were hopping around. So this whole section is all done with the dark. You can see a lot of tooth. I went, maybe a couple layers. I'm going to move to olive green, 5421. Love that I can read that. And start working on the second tone. It is a 5-color blend. Okay, I have to remember my train of thought. Got the internet set up for them. So they couldn't really decide because they're not going to have their bed. They did ship their bed. The mattress and the frame, not the decorative part of the bed. They will end up getting a different, more tropical set for the decor part. But the functional part is coming. And it didn't arrive. So we left, and Hub says, we could just take the mattress out of the fifth wheel. And I'm like, oh, that's a really heavy, it is a memory foam with no springs in it. And I said, I know, we could take we have a Murphy bed in the guest room, and it has a spring, inner spring slash foam. It's a little bit of both. And it is, I think, 2 inches thinner. So I said, I bet it'd be a lot easier. Let's go do it right now. We'll try to sneak in and see if we can sneak it into the guest room without them knowing. It can be your birthday present for my mom. So we grabbed the mattress, we threw it in the back of the truck, brought bedding, and unfortunately, Bubba saw us and kind of like barked, and it got their attention. Or we could have done a full-on surprise. So I told her, I'm going to close the door. You can't come in. So what does she do? She comes over and starts to open the door. No. You need to stay on the other side. You can't see what we're doing. So we put the mattress down and we made the bed. And it has like a tropical palm tree cover. And then we opened the door. I said, okay, you can come in now. And they were so thrilled. So now, no matter what happens with those darn pods, if troubles continue and they do not arrive in a timely manner, I switched to the next lightest, pea green. So we're on color number 3. So they now have a bed. They've already slept in the bed during the hurricane. They came in and slept on it and said that it felt fine, and they were very happy. So because they weren't finding the reclining options very adequate for sleeping overnight. Okay, so we've got this lantern, and we definitely I probably need to do a little erasing. I was having a good time chatting. And do I have a mono 0? I've noticed that I swear I had more like 4 or 5 mono 0s, and I'm down to 2. So I don't know where. I think my mom has one, and I might have one, stuffed in maybe a bag that I'm working on a project. Okay, see this red? Big hint. Don't just use that red. I'm going to have these Post-its. I'm going to clean it off. Oh yeah, here, look at all the red that came off. If that's not enough to convince you. Lots of red. So I want a little more highlight on the top of these. That one's good, this one's good. Now these can get darker because they are further away, and they might, the branch might be casting some shadow. So I'm going to continue to color them darker. So this afternoon I was up till 2 a.m. and I got my spot at the artisan market. I'm in a good location. There are certain areas that you prefer not to be, and I didn't get stuck. Like there's a patio. Nobody wants to be stuck out on the patio. And it is sold out. Everybody was setting up. I didn't set up my stuff, but I did all of the displays and kind of came up with my display layout. And as soon as I am done coloring, I will be working on the signs. I have them placed, and then I brought one of them home for size. And these are some decor and display setup stuff from back in the day. And I was purposefully, the last 2 years, knew eventually this stuff would come home to roost. And I did not buy any other display items in the last 2 years. So it was cool to see my table fleshed out. I have moved to the next lighter color. I gotta put a little shadow here because this leaf is casting shadow on the leaf below it. I am not doing an exact, you know, science-y light casting, shadow casting analysis. I'm kind of being pretty casual about it because this is all about casual coloring for me and getting into the details of the realism. Kind of stresses me out, and I just don't want to be stressed about it. So it's pseudo-realism. So I picked the second darkest to come through and get this shadow right here. And I think I've established that nicely. And then this one has a shadow. I don't know that there's any other shadows. Yep, so I think it's funny that it was a crazy hectic week. But my parents are in their house. It's so, time flies so fast when you have a specific event. I can remember, you know, when you're planning for like a vacation, or in my case, if I was, you know, doing horse shows, the season, the whole show season, which starts in April and ends in October, would just fly so fast. And then it feels like when we traveled for the 7 years on the road that it was slow. It was like the longest vacation ever. Always working on reservations, and when we were in town, we would be doing the whole visiting thing because we have limited time to get all the visiting done before we then leave. We would spend the summer in our then home area, but every winter we would pre-plan out a big, instead of like a normal vacation of 2 weeks, we were doing a 6-month vacation through the winter, but going down to the south each winter so that we would have sunny weather all winter long. We did not like the year that, so this is a tricky one of which leaf is in front and which is behind. I think you could just make it up and whichever you decide would work. Because this one is in front, I'm going to say it is casting a shadow on the right side here. And if I haven't mentioned it already, there is the resist. Most of these books seem to have this little white thin line that forms when you first color, especially with the dark colors. And you just have to kind of work it back and forth to make sure that your color fills in. I can even see, I hope you guys can see it. If any of you have noticed this, let me know so that I know I'm not crazy, that you just have to push harder to make sure that that space right next to the black line fills in. So that's what I did there. I burnished every line that I did. Okay, and this is the second darkest color. This is the dark green, right? Dark green, yes. When I see my image, like this leaf looks a little flat to me, the first thing I do is I go in and I add some really dark to make it more zippy. I hope you're seeing the change in this somewhat flat leaf. I just think that I even feel, I always leave light, but the darker my darks go, it just really makes the image, the shadows are where it's at. But I also feel that I am better at leaving the whites white or light, and not as good at going dark. I have to be bold and not be afraid to make my darks really dark. Can't believe how much my ears are ringing. So I got all of this jewelry. I don't know if I talked about how I stored all this stuff. It was baggied with these little black squares that I, on a bigger baggie, I would put a bigger piece of this 3M anti-tarnish strips is what they're called. And so I got to detangle a whole bunch of jewelry after coloring and before coloring. I was preparing all of these materials to sell. Oh boy. I could have been nicer to myself and separated them better than I did. So that's a fold, and I think that should be dark. I have not done a dark leaf fold, so I am going to do it. I'm going to do this one dark as well. It feels like those should be on the light side to me, but because they are down here at the bottom. All right. I even think I'm going to go shift a little bit here because I think I want these dark too. At least part of them dark. Give that a try. Doesn't hurt to try. This is the darkest color, so I'm kind of being careful. I don't want to just get in there and go full dark. Okay, I have not been watching my hand, by the way. So back here, I should have gotten a piece of glassine. I would think. Okay, we're moving on. I will probably not do all of the leaves. I just wanted to do a good chunk of them, and then I will do the rest as homework. I'm going to do one more bit of leaves today, then I will finish up with the lanterns. At least the start of them, the yellow to orange, light part. Okay, I did a little chartreuse. I am now going in with olive green. So tomorrow I have my little section set aside for the coloring group, and I have all of my praying pages I've colored, the praying pencils. I'm toying with, everyone who comes by who is interested in the coloring, I have some of the freebies printed out. So if they want to just take a freebie, it's always fun to have a little giveaway. And then I also have a sign-up sheet for, because the way the group meetings go that I host are, I go ahead and email, even though it's all over in our community activities information, and anybody can just call, text, or email me. The way it really works best is if I send out the invite, and it's sort of newsletter-esque. I give them examples. Here's what I've colored in the last week, because the classes are every other week. And so I was so honored to have somebody ask how they get a lesson from me. And I said, though I do an in real life coloring group, I think the best way to learn how I color is to color with me. So either you love, I have my books, and so if you like these books, you can get them or use them if you already have them. You could peek ahead at the color for the day. The nice thing is it's daily, so the options for what I'm coloring they vary wildly, especially with small victories. So you can find your own coloring book that has leaves, maybe these broad leaves, and you don't need my pencils. You can just do your greens. I try to talk about the color range, and then you go find your colors and you just color with me. I absolutely love doing color alongs and tutorials, and for right now I am just doing the dailies, and maybe eventually I will shift and have some sort of a more learning environment per se. But for right now, I'm just happy doing the daily colors. It's just I was very honored that somebody asked. I'm just switching the colors around. I've got, this is overall darker. It is back further away, but it does have this one side that is exposed to the lantern light. So I'm taking my chartreuse and I am actually burnishing the rest of these leaves before I move on, looking at getting rid of the tooth. I actually, for my mom's birthday, which is tomorrow, I've given her a little care package, including as a hint for her, I'm giving her a pencil extender. Because she's been coloring a lot, and eventually she's going to need one. Pencil extender, a couple of colorless blenders. She has a Color colorless blender that came with her Color set. And so I also gave her a Prismacolor one, which is there's a difference between the two. The Prismacolor is much softer and quieter to use. All right, so I'm going to call those done, and I'm going to move on here. I started this one, so I'm going to grab the dark again, and this is dark green, 5511, and I will get these all blocked in. So she got a little case that's a 2-zipper case to hold odds and ends. I've given her a fun piece of turquoise that is kind of got a story behind it, that particular piece that I can't wait till she sees it. It's one that she gave to me years ago. Just one single turquoise bead. And she's like, maybe you can do something fun with this. So my something fun with it is to give it back to her many years later, because I think she's had it forever. I should ask her where she got it from. And she can put it back in whatever jewelry storage. I don't even know what she uses. Oh yes, I do know what she uses. I think that this should go back in it. I hope she brought that case, though. I haven't asked her what ended up. I guess I will see, because I know at the very end it was a big mad dash and they had to leave stuff behind. Both my mom and I and our spouses, we're not movers. We live for many, I think she lived in this house 17 years and we had lived in ours for 15. So the whole process of moving is pretty daunting. And now we've both done it and survived. Lived to tell the tale. Alright, almost done with the dark green. I like the idea of these being super dark, so I'm going to make them dark. This one is going to have a little, it'll be dark on this side, but it'll go to light. So I feel like everything's been in limbo the last month. She managed to move here. Oh, she left the 25th. I can't remember if it was 24th or 25th of September. But she did arrive here the afternoon, around 4:30 in the afternoon on October 3rd. And today's the 7th. Today's the 8th. She closed on her home on the 8th, so she spent, 35 days, and boom, she's in her home. Yeah, that's all because she didn't mess around. They're ready to pull the trigger and make a decision. Okay, I'm moving, so that's our chunk. I could have done that one too, but that's okay. I did, now that this market will be over and my mom will be moved in, we will be, for the rest of the weekend, it will be pretty hectic. I'm not going to say I won't color tomorrow, because I hate to skip a day for any reason, but depending on when the pods arrive, we have to unload everything because they're picking the pods up, empty pods, on Monday. So part of it is, in fact, well, the whole thing is the community rules of having the pods in the driveway is 48 hours, I think, 48 to 72 hours. So if we're feeling crunched, I will skip the coloring, but for the most part, I try to do it every day. I'm going to try to stick with it. And then Sunday will just be a short weekly review video. Okay, moving one lighter. That was the olive green, and now I'm going, oh, that's too light. Pea green comes before apple green. Here, I'm going to share with you how easy it is to get these two mixed up. They look, for the most part, about the same color. The apple green is just a little bit more limey. Pea green a little more blue. But it is definitely darker. So see that tip I'm going to leave nice and light. This side I'll keep light. We're getting further away, so this I should not leave light. I'm being vague on the stem connecting to the branch. I'm just not really even thinking about it. It's just kind of happening. Should burnish this. Yeah. I have two darker. This is like the middle color. I kind of think I want to go back to dark green. I think of this as dark. And to the right of the overlapping one, also as dark. Okay. So here is, if you can see it, you know, I could zoom in just because I really want you guys to see the resist along the black line is kind of a neat deal. I went ahead, we're at 42 minutes, so I'll probably not worry about the lanterns because I'm just going to finish this up, the green leaves. So this little extra kind of yellowy line is part of that resist, and I just went with it and used it. I don't know if it's really accurate. I could say that that's in light, so that probably should be in shadow, depending on how the tilt goes and how the curl is. But I just like it, so I'm going to leave it. If you just leave enough of these little highlight bits, and they're even remotely accurate, it just makes it more interesting to look at, leaving these little tiny bits of the it would be the apple green and the chartreuse, with the chartreuse shining through. Okay, so I'm going to go, although, you know what, I'm going to stay that zoomed in because you can still see all of the leaves, and perhaps you can see some of the shadows. So I have not added the apple or the chartreuse. So these are very glowy, and these are pretty flat. So I started to add some of the light green here. So I'm doing some heavy pressure to remove the tooth and to add that nice glowy look. Yep, and I really want this guy to have some glow on that side. I'd actually mushed it down and made it less glowy. I might erase that. Alright, let's work on these last couple. We're at 44 minutes. Alright, so we will tomorrow on Saturday, maybe very remote chance that I will have to skip it. I could maybe do a makeup day on Sunday once we get everything moved. It's really important that we have the pods totally empty. My husband and I, we are the muscle. My parents are not capable, neither of them are not heavy lifters. So that'll be our job. So the next thing that will happen is I will finish the leaves on my own. So we will be moving on, do the lanterns. Those won't take too long. And then the owl. Get into the owl. And I haven't really decided. Like I said, I need to go look at owls. Look at the different possibilities. And decide what I want him to be colored like. So, do all of the YouTube things. I will probably call it here. I can just finish the rest of these. Hopefully I gave you kind of a good synopsis of my strategy for these particular leaves. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing, and I hope to be back here tomorrow to work on the lanterns and get started on our owl. And I hope to see you all there.